But the owl was kind of the title of this work is Wisdom Archetype, and I was quite interested at this time in the idea that I read somewhere that all images are archetypes. So they kind of like stand in for like a class of something or a kind of something. They represent like a type, and the owl kind of traditionally is like a symbol of like knowledge or wisdom, a wise old owl or something like that. So I thought that I could make this work that was like kind of playing with that. On his head there, he's got this white glove, and that's I kind of thought it was a little bit like a I don't know, like a trencher or what was it, a mortarboard or whatever that kind of hat is. But it's actually just a white gallery glove. I'm not sure where I picked it up from. And he's also got this plasma ball thing, it's emitting little bits of lightning, and that's being activated by the coat hanger, which I see as being like it's like an aerial. Like if we talk about the diagram again, it's like receiving the signals that come from beneath the surface and activating knowledge, understanding. It's like, you know, a meta commentary somehow. I'll go back a bit. Hang on. Yeah, the kind of main element of this show, the big ones. I'm going to talk about the big ones: the diagram, the owl, the table, the video are the most important elements, I think. The table came from a takeaway bar on K Road. I'd admired it for many years. I really liked the way they actually cut the end of the table off so they could put it against the glass frontage of the takeaway shop, and it wouldn't take up so much room on the sidewalk. I always thought that was a nice move. Anyway, one day I was hanging around K Road as you do, and I found that the table had been chucked out under a pile of plastic bags full of food waste, and so naturally I decided to rummage through and pick the table out from underneath. But the table, especially as a table that belongs on the street, I was really interested in. I've been thinking about cafe tables and the like on the streets are like a weird mashup of like public and private space. They're like it's a little bit like the idea of the common, like something where, you know, it's like private as public space, but it has a kind of a private use, and everyone kind of has access to it, but it's kind of public, but it's kind of private at the same time. And this idea of the common also, you know, I was thinking that it would be really nice to be able to make art that would bring people together somehow, and would unite people. We all have something in common. But of course, there's sort of not really anything that unites us really, other than kind of things like fear or disgust, or you know, like it's easier to band together around something that's negative than positive. So it seemed like a good thing to use this kind of disgusting table as a metaphor for like what we have in common. We can all sit around. We can sit around the table. I was thinking at that point that the 5 chairs were good because it's like, you know, 4 chairs and it's like a family unit or something. 5 chairs is something else. I'm not sure if it really works out like that, but I thought it was, you know, five was definitely better than 4. Okay. Yeah, so this is another element of the work. You guys are extremely lucky to see the rare uncensored version of the E.T. porn work, which is upstairs. This is a work in Gambier Castle, was titled Alien Sex Robot. In explaining things upstairs, it's titled On the Possible Relations to the Absolute Outside. And it's really just like, you know, philosophically trying to think about, like, you know, if you come in contact with something that's like really, really radically different from you, what relationship do you have with it? You know, do you just what do you do? What, you know, what's it kind of, you know, what kind of position do you take, I guess? What are the possible positions that could be taken? This is another small painting that was in this show, Rat Casserole. It's a very blurry photo that I've got of it. It was a blurry painting to begin with, so it's okay. This work came about as a, I guess it's kind of like a response to one of Nietzsche's aphorisms, which goes something along the lines of when your house is burning down, you even drop your lunch. Yes, but you pick it out from the ashes. And I was thinking that food, like there's a kind of a relationship between making art and making food. Like you just kind of like throw things together and something happens and it kind of works or it kind of doesn't. So Rat Casserole was kind of like a food painting. Since explaining things, actually this work was reworked. Had some extra text added over the top, and it's been kind of reframed. Now it says dirty sandwich. So it's a little bit different. Maybe it's a little bit more direct. Yeah, this is a version of a sculpture called storage unit. It's a flat pack shelving and MDF and acrylic paint and foam core, and it's just kind of formalist and empty and just kind of, I guess it's like this work actually really important in terms of the reconceiving of the show, for going upstairs, in that it doesn't really mean anything. It just kind of is. It doesn't have any kind of literal content, doesn't have any meaning as such, and everything else is so loaded and so intense that like if the show was to expand and keep going with the overloading of framing devices and bad allegories and things like that, then it just wouldn't work.